This video and its content are protected by and operate underneath the guides of the Fair Use Act. It will be used for criticisms, news reporting, possible teachable moments, but most importantly, my commentary and review. So, hey, YouTube, and anybody who gets butthurt, do not come copyright striking my channel. Also, everything in this video is allegedly according to what has been alleged, because even if we see them do it with our own two eyes, hear it come out of their mouths with our own two ears, or read it in the court docs, it is still alleged because we weren't there, so we don't know what really happened.
Big poppin', money in the bank coming, dropping a deposit. Having it my way, so I got these bitches watching. Steady getting to it, couldn't fit it in my pocket. Flexing everything, baby, tell me big poppin'. Money in the bank coming, dropping a deposit. Having it my way, so I got these bitches watching. Steady getting to it, couldn't fit it in my pocket. Flexing everything, baby, tell me what to tap it.
Yo, what's poppin', Henny? Gang. If you are new to the channel, please be sure to like, comment, and what else? Subscribe. It's free. Click that notification bell and select all so that you get notified whenever I do a video. Now, the reason why I still have this allegedly up here is because I need you all to know that this is all alleged, even though it is in a court doc, as I say in the intro. So don't forget that. But we are going to get into all of this hot henny, definitely hot henny. Okay, because we have all looked at this Tory Lanez case side-eyed. Whether you believe he did it or you believe he didn't do it, you know that there are things that were going on in this case that definitely did not add up, definitely did not make sense. So this has left people in shambles and torn in between, because those who love Meg believe Tory did it. Those who love Tory believe that he didn't do it. And then there are those who believe that Kelsey did it. But I'm going to clear my throat on that. But today we are here because there has been a lot of movement in Tory's case that people have not been keeping up with. And the movement that has been going on is that Tory has been fighting to get an appeal. And guess what? His appeal has been granted. So this case is going back to court because there were some things that went on during this case that were very, very questionable. But before we get into all of that, I do want to take a time out so that we can go ahead and give out our years and what's poppins. So what's poppin' to Wilson Vibes? What's poppin' Tanya? What's poppin' Zoe? What's poppin' CJ? What's poppin' Coco? What's poppin' Nicole? What's poppin' Lashana? What's poppin' T? What's poppin' MC? What's poppin' Sheldonna? I'm going to call you Shelly for short, okay? What's poppin' Debbie? What's poppin' Selena? What's poppin' the Rainbow Chick? What's poppin' Lakeisha? What's poppin' Nina? What's poppin' She Sips Tea? What's poppin' Keeping Up with the Porters? What's poppin' Talia? What's poppin' Jacqueline? What's poppin' Lachey? What's poppin' Uniquely Yours? What's poppin' Sheree? What's poppin' Bobby? What's poppin' Margie? What's poppin' Ashley? What's poppin' Ari Mack? What's poppin' Heidi B is up in here. What's poppin' Cat Eyes? What's poppin' Kayla? What's poppin' in Ski to Miss Poppington? What's poppin' Buttercup? What's poppin' Erica? Miss Thompson? Felicia. What's poppin'? What's poppin' Yolanda? Keep Tory in jail. Child, y'all want to keep everybody in jail, huh? Y'all want Blue in jail. Y'all want Tory in jail. But I'm still waiting for Diddy to go to jail. But that's a whole nother video, a whole nother topic for a whole nother time. What's poppin', Pretty Ginger? What's poppin', Paula? So we're going to read through these docs as best that we can, because I think I'm going to have to make this a series, okay? And I want y'all to put your... This some shady, shameful that's going on. I had to put my sunglasses on while we open up this court doc, because baby, The things that I am seeing and reading is things that we already knew, but it's things that just make me shake my head because it's just like, what was the purpose? What was the reason? On my Cardi B. What was the reason? So I'm going to open up the writ of habeas corpus. Okay. Now, if you don't know what habeas corpus is, or you don't remember, because I know that we have gone over habeas corpus before, now I see why Royalty's World be wearing her sunglasses. Shout out to Royalty. I like those sunglasses. The sunglass look. It kind of shields your eyes and it don't hurt so much when you be looking at the screen and stuff. And then, you know, the windows to the soul. Like I feel like my soul is being blocked from people getting to it. All right, there we go. Let there be light. Habeas corpus. A writ of habeas corpus is used to bring a prisoner or other detainee before the court to determine if the person's imprisonment or detention is lawful. A habeas petition proceeds a civil action against the state agency who holds the defendant in custody. Okay, so that's habeas corpus. All right, now as you can see, these people right here, Unite the People. Now, Unite the People actually have a Facebook page. Okay, these are, I mean, Instagram page. These are the people who have taken up Tory's case. Okay, enhancements. We provide low-cost legal service to help get people home. That's what they say. Okay, all right. These people seem to have worked with a lot of folk here. All right. This, as you can see, there's been information that they have been posting on their page. I was just going down, make sure. This first posting that they made was on October 5th of 2023. Okay, has filed our client, Mr. Tory Lanez's motion for appeal bond today in hopes of getting Mr. Peterson released during the appeal process. So they were the ones who originally filed this appeal, but that's October 5th of 2023. And we are now sitting in what month? Oh, now here is another court doc that they put on December 14th that says, update our client Daystar Peterson, known as Tory Lanez, on his writ of habeas corpus for resentencing. The court, we have read and considered the petition of writ of habeas corpus filed on December 12th, 2023. Good reason appearing. The petition will be considered. Okay. Then we come on over here to February 27th. All right. And this is the second appeal district division. This is they're still doing. This is the appellate opening brief. Okay. Mr. Peterson's opening brief has been filed. Caesar Mitchell McDowell will personally like to thank Unite the People staff and all of their hard work for Mr. Peterson's case. Attorney Crystal Morgan has spent tireless hours drafting, researching this case, and put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into this, as well as others. And we appreciate it so much. We are going to, we again would like to thank all of the staff for their hard work. Okay. And that was on February 27th. And then we come on over here. This is February 27th. My bad. I just opened that. All right. So now we come on over here to 6 days ago. 6:45 motion granted for Mr. Peterson. Okay. That means the courts accepted this. All right, let's zoom in just a little bit on this so we can read this, because matter of fact, I ain't even got to do all of that. Hold on, I'm coming. Hold on, I'm coming, because I actually have that image. Okay, very clear for all to see. Let's see if I go into my windows. Where is it? Don't do me. Do not do me. This says image 5. So where is it? There it goes. All right. So as y'all can see, this is the document right here. Hold on, because I didn't check something. Oh, okay. We do have the watermark up. I am on the proper screen. All right. So let's get this party rocking and rolling. All right. So in regards to Daystar Peterson on habeas corpus, the court has read and considered petition Daystar Peterson's June 21st, 2024, motion for relevant evidence brought pursuant to Penal Code Section 745, subdivision and the People's. June 26, 2024, opposition to Peterson's motion for discovery. Good reason appearing. The motion for discovery will be considered together with Peterson's pending petition for writ of corpus filed on December 12th. Y'all still with me down there in them comments? Let me see what y'all down here talking about for a little bit. All right, all right. Hey, I'm gonna call y'all back. Oh, Miss Pammy said miracles. For the most part, y'all are talking to one another. Hey, Sheeta is a member. Welcome to the other side. All right. So y'all, the AG know is some funny stuff going on. Listen, we ain't even gotten into anything. We haven't even gotten into anything as of yet, y'all. Didn't even listen to this case, child. Well, you gonna listen to this case now? He admitted to it on a recorded line. Was it an admission of guilt, or are we being told that it was an admission of guilt? Because I don't recall him saying what he apologized for. I just remember him saying that he apologized. But let's get into the writ of habeas corpus. We're going to get into this one first. All right. Let me make this a little bit bigger. All right. Habeas corpus filed on 12/12 of 2023. Wait a minute. Let me look at something. I want to see which document was filed first. That will determine where we're going. Okay. So, yeah, we're going to read this one first, and then we'll get into the other document just a little bit. Okay. Because this document, let me just show y'all. First of all, I'm going to say shout out to this young lady right here, Crystal Morgan. Shout out to her because she gave us, let me see if I can do this. No, I can't do that. It won't allow me to do that. I forgot. This is not that type of document. She gave us a damn table of contents. Do y'all see this? This young lady took her time with this paperwork. I mean, she got the pages and all of that, the introduction, the statement of the case, the statement of facts, okay, the memorandum of points and authorities. Okay, she did not come to play with them. Okay. Now, these are the memorandums of points of authorities, and it starts off with the things that they are saying they're going back to court for. So they're saying that Senate Bill 97 updated Penal Code Section 1437 to further define new evidence so that petitioner may show his innocence through a statement of an unheard key witness. Now, we know there was an unheard key witness. We're going to find out what that witness had to say. Okay, the next one is to allow petitioner to challenge the expert testimony as the DNA evidence presented is definitionally false. Okay, the next one is to sentence petitioner to a term pursuant to counts 2 and 3 while staying on other counts. Okay. The lowest term possible while mitigating factors are present and as such must be applied to petitioner's case at hand. Okay. The next one, to eliminate gun enhancements such as to which was imposed in petitioner's underlying trial. Okay, then it also allows considerations of bias or discrimination based on race, ethnicity, and national origin as what petitioner faced through his criminal process. Okay, next is the conclusion, then the prayer of relief, and then the verifications. Okay, now she gave us a whole rundown and breakdown of what it is that they finna do, and she gave them table of authorities, baby. She broke down every case that pertains to anything that she put up there. When I tell you she put her foot in this case, this is a lawyer. This is a lawyer. This what these court documents should be looking like. If you ask me, they should take notes. This what it should look like to me. This looks very professional, very clean. Okay. She took her time. Yes, we're going to learn today. Okay. We're going to learn today. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down, and she even listed the statutes, baby. She went through evidence and penal codes and look at this. Baby, assembly bills, Senate bills. She did her homework, baby. All right. This is also, let me just show y'all. Y'all remember how long the Dreams case was? Y'all see I'm still scrolling. The court doc itself is 52 pages, but the whole document is 59 pages. And then I'm going to bring y'all over here to this case too, okay? Because she did the same thing for the Second Appellate District for the Courts of Appeals, the appeal from the Superior Court of Los Angeles, California. She did the same thing with them, she gave them another table of contents. Okay, but I want y'all to see this one is a long one as well. This is why I said this is going to be broke down into sections. Okay, we listen. This one right here in total is 103 pages. The court documents themselves are not that long. It's 103 pages altogether, honey. Now I don't know about you, but I ain't got no 103 pages plus 59. Listen. That's 62 pages. I'm not sitting here reading 162 pages. We're going to break this down into sections, and that's how we're going to do this. We're going to do a part 1 today, and then we're going to do a part 2, and then we're going to get into some other things as well as it pertains to this case. Any glasses in the chat if you are all right with that. Now, what I do want to get into on this case right here is I do want to get into the statement of facts. We are on the habeas corpus, okay? The writ of habeas corpus. Got to take me a pull. Following facts are derived from petitioner's Superior Court case, yet he still maintains his innocence. While more detailed facts as developed in said trial are contained in the petitioner's opening brief and are incorporated herein as if set forth verbatim. All right, let's get into it. In the early hours of July 12, 2020, petitioner, his driver, and bodyguard, Mr. Jaquan Smith, Miss Pete, and Miss Harris were traveling in a vehicle from a pool party where they had consumed numerous alcoholic drinks. A verbal altercation ensued. The vehicle pulled over. The situation culminated in a firearm being discharged in the direction of the ground. Pete sustained injuries to her feet. However, she first claimed that these injuries were caused by broken glass and not from ricocheting bullet fragments, as was later charged. Pete testified that it was the petitioner who caused her injuries, yet she gave conflicting statements as shown above. Pete stated that the variances were because she was embarrassed, traumatized, and scared of the police due to the recent George Floyd incident. Now, before y'all start saying anything, Henny, why are you reading this? We already know this. Because we have to get into everything, all right? We got to get into everything, okay? And the thing is, these are the things that were conflicting to us, the public. Because now I'm just saying what I saw and what I heard. So don't come for me talking about you coming for Meg. Facts are facts, and the truth could never be this. She told us that there was no relationship between the two of them, and she told that to Gail King as well. And then she got up on the stand and she said it was. Okay? And she said that it was glass in her foot, and now she said it was fragments in her foot. So, in the eyes of the courts, regardless to the reason, in the eyes of the courts, stories are conflicting. All right? In the eyes of the courts, him doing that apology has multiple different things. Some people believe it was an omission of guilt, and some people like myself are like, well, I don't know what he was apologizing for. Because there's a lot to apologize for. The ninja was sleeping with two best friends and caused a division between the two of them. But I digress. And go back to saying there's a lot that he had to apologize for that actually made sense for him to apologize, even though you already did it. So you kind of can't apologize and take it away. But let's get back to the court doc. Harris invoked her right to self-incriminate at trial, to which the people offered her immunity in exchange for her testimony. Despite such, Harris still testified that she could not remember to most of the questions posed. This allowed the people to move for admittance of prior statements made by Harris in an interview by the prosecution. This 80-minute statement was played in its entirety to the jury without the defense ever receiving a transcription of such prior to trial. So that means that his people never got a transcript of what she said before it even happened. But the lawyer he had before then was supposed to stop that from happening, and he did not. How do I know that? Because I've seen this. We've watched this shit in court and on court TV and on court TV shows. All evidence has to be given to both parties. You can't hold evidence back, but it was allowed to enter in, and this is what happened. So this is something that they are bringing up, saying, hey, look, she didn't testify, but they went on ahead and they moved forward with this 80-minute statement, and they didn't even give us a copy of it before she went and testified. Like, where they do that at? All right. A neighbor who was awoken by shouting, Sean Kelly, testified that from the balcony of his home, his son and himself saw two women fighting and two men breaking up the fight. Then they saw gunfire come from the passenger side of the car near the second woman. Smith did not testify despite arguably being a key witness. Smith was not called as the people were not prepared for their cross-examination and asked to delay such testimony. Now, remember, a lot of us were telling y'all that there was a witness, this Mr. Kelly dude. Now, if I remember correctly, I believe at some point Mr. Kelly did testify. If I'm not mistaken, we're going to go back. That's why we're going to go back, because we're going to refresh our memories. I'm starting with this, and we're going to go back and bring it to the present, y'all. Don't worry. Later in the trial, the people and current attorney for the defense, I don't know how to say that name. Somebody help me out in the comments. McDesney? We're going to say McDesney, because I don't know. That sounds and looks right to me, so we're going to say McDesney. Stipulated that Smith was not to be summoned as the holidays were approaching, and they feared that delaying the trial could cause a mistrial. Now, I don't understand how that's possible. If it's the holidays and you have to delay because of the holidays, I don't understand how that would cause a mistrial. Okay, but anyway, it was only through recent efforts that petitioner himself learned that Smith wished to convey and obtained the verified statements attached here as to Exhibit 1. Henny Glass is in the chat if y'all want to hear what the driver/bodyguard had to say. Yes, Selena, somebody went missing. Somebody went missing. And he did not reappear until after. Y'all comments are interesting. I'm going to tell y'all my thoughts on everything and everyone in this situation when I'm done. But let's go back to the court docs for a second. All right. This statement is new evidence as defined by Section 1473. Most importantly, the evidence would have most likely changed the outcome of the trial, as also required by 1473. The statement of Smith directly contradicts the testimony given by Pete, which also was not in concert with what was reported by Harris. Smith's statement comport with the testimony of Kelly, which is true. His testimony lines up with the neighbor, Mr. Sean Kelly. And it is likely that Smith's statements would have tipped the scales in favor of the petitioner. Forensic testing did not resolve any questions of who the shooter was because both Harris and the petitioner had GSR on their hands. Inexplainably, considering these GSR results and the wildly conflicting testimonial versions of events, the only DNA sample collected for analysis and comparison to the firearm and magazine was a sample belonging to the petitioner. That would be Tory Lanez. Both of them had GSR. I'm going to tell you what we're saying. Both of them had GSR residue on them, yet they only tested Tory for the GSR. Where the hell is my window? Oh, there it is. Because that when I last, so how do they know she had it on her hands if they didn't do a test? They tested for the GSR, but they did not run her DNA. The only person they took DNA from was him. Right. I say they should have tested not only Tory, but Kelsey, Megan, and the driver. Everybody that was that was involved in that situation right there, all of them should have been tested, in my humble opinion. I mean, that's a possibility. I need to stop. I have way too many jokes and it's tense up in here. You see it, right? It's and magazine was a sample belonging to the petitioner. The test results ruled petitioner out as the contributor of the DNA recovered from the magazine and were inconclusive as to the gun. So he was ruled out as the contributor to the DNA recovered from the magazine. And it was inconclusive, meaning it was incomplete. They couldn't come to a conclusion as to whose DNA was on the gun. So it wasn't on the magazine, and they don't know who was on the gun. But they wouldn't know who was on the gun if they haven't tested everybody. I don't know. I'm not trying to fight or tussle with nobody in these comments. I'm not. Not they all need. I understand that this is a very delicate. First of all, this is very triggering. Let me just say that to y'all. If y'all have any questions or doubts this is a triggering behind subject right here for not just y'all, but for me as well, as a person who's been through some things, who's seen some things. Okay, this is very freaking triggering. But at the end of the day, what I'm showing y'all is that this case wasn't handled right. Was what the neighbor said and what those texts said. The neighbor said that he and his son saw two women fighting and that he saw the go off by the second woman on the other side. The driver is saying he don't know which one of them had it. All he knows is they broke up the fight and he took Meg around the back of the car and then I don't know. Like, I don't know. To me, looking at the scene, the way all of this is coming off, okay. No. I believe during the trial, they said that the Pow Pow belonged to Tory. But my thing with all of this is, in my mind, what I'm seeing is these two start fighting because you always sleeping with my men. And they start fighting and the fight get broke off. And then she go into the car, grab his, and he trying to stop her. And either way, everybody in this situation wrong. If you want to know my opinion, everybody wrong but the driver. The driver ain't did it. Everybody wrong. There now, I said it. Okay, you know what I'm going to do? This for my sanity and my peace, because you're not about to drive me crazy today. Okay. The DNA evidence admitted against the petitioner failed to comport with industry accepted standards of violation of petitioner's due rights of process, thus resulting in a miscarriage of justice. At the trial, people introduced evidence that the petitioner could not be excluded as a contributor to the DNA evidence collected from the firearm recovered in the SUV, though his profile was conclusively excluded as being present on the magazine. Specifically, the people expert LAPD criminalist Randy Zapita testified that the DNA profile of the swab of the hand pum was a mixture of at least 4 individuals, including at least one male with mixture properties, proportions, of 90%, 5%, 3%, and 2%. 4 individuals. I'm going to read that again. The DNA profile of the swab of the pum was a mixture of at least 4 individuals, including at least one male. And the percentages of that is 90%, 5%, 3%, and 2%. He continued to testify that for 90% contributor, that's an unknown male, one male. So it's definitely not Mr. Peterson. That came from the criminalist from the LAPD. As to the other profiles, the expert testified the contribution of Mr. Daystar Peterson was inconclusive. The statistics don't support inclusion or exclusion, right? How could they get a conclusion to that if you did not test everybody, though? I'm trying to make it make sense. Like, how? That's like trying to find out who stole the cookie from the cookie jar, but you only going to one person and asking them. Meanwhile, there's other people that got crumbs and chocolate smears on them, but you're not checking them. I'm not picking a side neither, CJ. I just said what I said. That's what I think. That's what I think. But I ain't picking a side in this. I don't have no dog in this fight. But what I am going to say is that they didn't handle this case right. And that's it. That's what I'm saying. I'm not here to go back and forth and argue about this and that. I'm not doing that. I'm just saying that this case was not handled correctly. That's it. That's all. Let's see what y'all are talking about. I'm very much aware of that, but that still has nothing to do with testing for DNA on a gun that has 4 individual DNAs on it. She was given immunity. Why was she even given immunity? Is anybody questioning that? Why is she given immunity out of everybody? You need the sound effects of what? Lee, I'm not saying, you know what? I'm about to end this live because y'all not about to work my nerves today. They did not handle the case properly. A jury can, okay, so let me explain this. A jury can only go off of the evidence and the story that they are being told in the court. But if you have not completed all of the work that needs to be done, every T wasn't crossed and every I wasn't dotted, that means that you're being given inaccurate information, incomplete information. So therefore, you're going to come to a conclusion based off of that. You got people that were not testified. They didn't testify. You have somebody that's questionably getting immunity. You have inconclusive DNA evidence, but you can tell us that it's 4 different people, but you can't tell us who those people are because you only tested one person for DNA. Didn't bother to collect all the DNA evidence from other people. Like, where did they handle this case at? Nobody deserves to be pumed at all, especially in such a minor dispute as to sleeping with a dude when there's 1,000,001 dudes out here. Like, are you serious? This person did not break into your house. They didn't unalive one of your peoples. They didn't do something detrimental that would make understandably the situation understandable as to somebody resulting in being pumed. But this to me was a crime of passion. But all I'm doing is highlighting the fact that the case was not handled correctly. But I'm not going to scuffle with y'all in the comments about who did what and how and this person. I'm not doing that. Y'all are entitled to y'all opinions and I'm letting y'all go with them, honey. But this is the premise of what I'm speaking on, is the fact that the court did not handle this case correctly. That's all I'm saying. And I don't give a damn about no holiday. The driver was there. The driver was on the scene at the incident. How is the trial allowed to come to a conclusion without speaking to somebody who was right there present? They allowed EJ to testify, and EJ was at the pool party, and EJ is the one who put all of that stuff into evidence as far as how much they were drinking at the party. Where Kelsey was, how Kelsey was in the pool and she was drunk on a floaty device. And he had to take her upstairs and let her sleep some of that off. They let EJ testify, but you don't have the driver there. You don't subpoena him and make him come to court to testify. No, we're not talking about that. Please listen to what I'm saying. They did not subpoena him and make him come to court. Regardless to what is going on, they had a job to do in the court system. Now, what I'm going to say is justice to y'all may look like it was served, but to me, it looked like it was half-ass given. Because y'all didn't take the time to really care about who pow-powed that thing and she got injured. Y'all didn't take the time for that. Y'all didn't do your due diligence to make sure that the proper justice is handed out. It don't matter if he dipped or not. If they subpoena you to come to court, you are mandated to come. And he should have been mandated to come to court. You had Megan there, Kelsey there, Tory there. The driver should have been made to come to court. You want to tell me the court can't find him? Child boo. Child boo. I just feel like this was half-ass justice served because it was half-ass work that was done. That's my thing. If anything, that's what I'm enraged and outraged about. Watch out, Migo. And then, matter of fact, since we getting into all of that, let me go on ahead and let me go down here to this gentleman's testimony because he did give a statement. Is it on this one? Or is it on the other one? I think it might be on the other one. Hold on, y'all. Because we do have his statement. I think it was on this one. Damn it, I had to move this. Okay. Hold on. Excuse me. Is it on 49 of this one? I'm going to pull up what he had to say. That's rap evidence. Because there's a lot. I'm going to tell y'all this. There's a lot to go through in this. It's a lot of statements that was given. It's a lot more than just this. We ain't even really get into all of this. And if it's to be outraged to me, it's to be outraged at the fact that y'all didn't feel like this deserved to have his due diligence done. They did more efforts in trying to figure out if OJ did what he did to his ex-wife than they did in this case. And I don't want to hear because somebody was unalive neither. They put more efforts into trying to do that case than they did this one. That's just my humble opinion. Okay, wait a minute. Peterson. Oh my God. Here we are. We go. Oh, I gotta definitely go back for this one because that one is talking about the blicker. All right, on the red. All right, hold on. It's on this one. 49. We at 14, 15. I'm pulling it up because we gonna talk about it. Cause no. Here we go. Can y'all see that? Let me see. There we go. All right. And I like the fact that this information was blacked out. His address and all of that was already done. But what about the doc saying it was glass first? Then they removed him and got another doc to say something else. Ashley, girl, if I put that up there, you're gonna spark a fire. I ain't putting that comment up there, but I read what you said. I'm I'm with you about not being handled correctly, but why was his defense team not on it? That's another question to ask, because how did they allow this to happen? How did you allow them to admit? That's what I was saying. Submit. That's what I was saying when we was talking about the 80-minute testament of Kelsey being allowed to be heard by the jury, but you didn't get a transcript of it before it went to them. Like, how did you just sit there and allow that? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is just ugh. I'm not taking nothing personally at all, because I love y'all. And I know that I knew going into this that this was going to be a lot, but I don't want to argue with none of y'all. I don't want y'all coming for me. I already expected it to be a divided audience where people, one side is going to be all for take Tory down. The other side is going to be Megan is a liar. I already knew all of this was going to go out. And the only reason why I said what I think is because I was asked. I think it was Kelsey. But I'm going to tell y'all what my opinion on everything at the end of all of this, because again, it's a lot that was told, not told, screwed up, the whole 9 yards in this case. See, this is why there's going to be levels to this. There's a lot. Okay, because if we're going to start getting into conspiracy theories, guys, then let's talk about the fact that he cracked the code for the NFCs? What the fuck? I know what it is, and I just said it earlier. How you able to sell your music without going through the record label, and how you could actually come up off of that? There's a lot here that could be conspiracy theory and the whole 9 yards, and we're going to explore it all. But what I need for y'all to do, NFTs, thank you. What I need y'all to do is just open your mind up and listen. This is not about a side. This is about the fact that justice was not carried out properly, and trying to see where some of this BS came into play at. Because it's a lot. Right. There's those of y'all who are also in the middle, who don't know what to believe. And guess what? Honestly, I feel like y'all that are in the middle, yeah. I like y'all, because y'all don't know. I think Wax. I'm sick of y'all. It's like his defense team were public defenders fresh out of law school. Exactly. That's what it's given. He said it in his music that he didn't sign, so he knew what was coming next. Child, wasn't there, don't know what happened, but the story was told was not the truth. Right, wasn't there, don't know what happened, but okay, let's read this because I may have to go back and edit this video so we can get to just the docs and stuff. So this is the testimony of Jaquan, deposed and states the following. My name, Jaquan Smith. There goes his address. I have firsthand knowledge of the facts in question that took place on July 12th. That's my daddy's birthday. That is the bias of the above. That is based on the above cited proceedings. All right. Let me get comfortable. Hold on, y'all. Let me get comfortable. Where you at, Nigo? Okay, you not under my feet, right? Because you about to get rolled over. I don't know where you went to, but you about to get rolled right on over, baby. All right. My air is good. Here we go. Jaquan Smith states, I was the driver and bodyguard of Mr. Daystar Peterson, who is better known as Tory Lanez, on July of 2020. Mr. Peterson has been known to me for 7 years. At the time of the incident, I had worked for Mr. Peterson for 3 years. He has not only been my employer, but I also consider him to be a close friend. On July 12th of 2020, I was asked to drive Mr. Peterson to the home of Kylie Jenner, where Miss Megan Pete and Kelsey Harris were present. Mr. Peterson was at Miss Jenner's home for approximately 2 hours when I received a call to come pick up Miss Pete and Miss Harris. Whoo, child. Miss Pete, Miss Harris, and myself left Miss Jenner's home, but I was asked by Miss Pete to return because she stated that she had forgotten a shoe. When we arrived at Miss Jenner's home at this time, Miss Harris stayed in the car while Miss Pete exited. Miss Pete did not enter the home at this time. She went around to the back to the pool. She went around back, that's what he says, to the pool area where Mr. Peterson was located. Both Miss Pete and Mr. Peterson returned to the car after a few minutes. Miss Pete was bickering, but I'm unsure of the exact words she was saying. She seemed upset. The four of us left Miss Jenner's residence. As I began to drive, Miss Pete started to fight with Mr. Peterson. They were going back and forth. I remember Mr. Peterson saying to Miss Pete that he was going to tell Miss Harris what was going on. I don't remember which street we were on, but Miss Pete asked me to stop the vehicle. I did as she asked, and Miss Pete went to sit on a nearby bus stop. Mr. Peterson went and spoke with Miss Pete. After about 2 minutes, they returned to the car, and I began driving again. Miss Pete started the argument again with Mr. Harris, asking what was going on. Mr. Peterson told her that he and Miss Pete had been dating and intimate. Miss Harris was upset by this, and she and Mr. Peterson had been dating in the same manner prior to any relationship with Miss Pete. Miss Pete and Miss Harris began fighting. I pulled over to stop them. Miss Pete and Miss Harris both got out of the vehicle and continued to fight both verbally and physically. I broke up this fight and was pulling Miss Pete towards the back of the car. I saw Miss Harris with a pow-pow in her hand. Mr. Peterson ran from behind Miss Pete and myself towards Miss Harris. Mr. Peterson and Miss Pete began struggling as Mr. Peterson tried to unarm Miss Harris. I was still pulling Miss Pete and did not see the weapon. I was lucky. I was not harmed, and in my opinion, Miss Pete was also fortunate. The whole incident happened so quickly within just a few minutes. I wanted to present this evidence during Mr. Peterson's trial, but was prevented from doing so as the district attorney was not ready to cross-examine me and later did not call me due to the holidays and court schedule. I believe I should have been allowed to present this evidence at trial. Respectfully submitted the 5th day of December of 2023, Joquan Smith. CJ deport him. What if they let him out? I don't know. He cannot be deported if he's found innocent via appeal, y'all. Right. I hate that people excuse the actions because she's like a fox. Because she likes to fox a lot of men. I don't know. I'm not gonna take none of y'all questions unless y'all at me directly. I'm gonna think y'all talking to each other in the comments because that is not my site or my take on things. Let's keep moving. With that being said, let's keep moving because unless y'all at me, I ain't got nothing to do with what y'all talk about in the comments, okay? So now this is what he's saying, and he's basically telling everybody, look, I wanted to present this evidence, but they didn't allow me to present the evidence to them because the district attorney was not ready to cross-examine me and later didn't call me due to the holidays. Now, we heard that testimony already. But to me, it don't matter how long the trial went on for. You needed his testimony as well because he was there. You needed his DNA as well because he was there. So I feel like his defense, Tory's defense team was crappy. And I don't understand why they're not appealing for inadequate defense, because he didn't have proper defense. Because how do you let this happen? I'm not a lawyer. I'm a spectator, but this is what I see and this is what I hear and this is what I know to be true from the court docs. But again, it is still assumed. It's alleged because we still weren't there, so we don't have no firsthand knowledge. Now, this is the statement of facts on the appellate's opening brief, okay, that was filed. Again, I am just reading the court docs to y'all, and we are having a conversation about it. And there is more that I am going to get into, okay? Now, in this one, all right, this is basically repeating everything that was already said in the statements of facts, okay? It is stating that on the 12th at approximately 4:30 a.m., Peterson, his security guard, two women, Kelsey and Meg, left the party at Kylie Jenner's house. They had consumed significant amounts of alcohol at the party, and the group left in the Cadillac SUV. In the ride, they started arguing. Pete exited the vehicle on Nichols Canyon Road. She testified that she exited the SUV and walked away from the vehicle with her back to the SUV and its occupants as Pete was walking away, yelling from inside. The SUV continued according to her trial testimony. When Pete turned back around, she saw Peterson pointing a pow-pow at her. Pete further testified that Peterson said, "Dance B," before firing the pow-pow. Peterson and Harris ran to Pete's aid, attempting to provide her medical assistance before helping her back into the SUV. Pete also testified that Peterson apologized to her and offered her $1 million to keep quiet about the pew-pewing. LAPD responded to the scene to several 911 calls from neighbors. Officers en route noticed a vehicle matching the 911 call description and initiated a felony detention stop of Peterson's vehicle. All passengers were commanded to exit the vehicle, and the police searched the SUV. Officers discovered a 9mm semi-automatic handgun on the floorboard of the front passenger seat, which was later determined to be an unregistered Pum-Pum. The owner of the Pum-Pum was never determined, yet trial attorney did reference this to be Miss Harris's weapon at the pretrial readiness hearing on December 5th of 2023, to which no one objected. When officers observed Pete bleeding from her right foot, they questioned her about the source of the injury. Pete told officers that she stepped on broken glass. Pete was transported to the hospital where she received medical treatment for bilateral injuries to her feet, which included surgery to remove bullet fragments from her feet. At the conclusion of the stop, Smith, Harris, and Peterson were taken into police custody for further questioning. Peterson was the only individual arrested on suspicion of carrying a concealed firearm within the vehicle. As part of an ongoing investigation, Pete was interviewed several times, including on July 16th and November 12th of 2020. On these later interviews, Pete changed her story and told LAPD Detective Ryan Stonger that she had been pumed by Peterson. Harris made several Instagram posts denying any involvement and testified that she did not Pete. At trial, Harris repeatedly responded to questions by denying any recollection. Harris repeatedly testified that she was not being truthful in her recorded statements to protect herself. During her testimony, Harris also repeatedly attempted to invoke her Fifth Amendment privileges to avoid incriminating herself about anything she was not truthful about. Because these invocations, yeah, the people granted Harris immunity and ultimately played her entire recorded interview for the jury. During cross-examination, Harris testified that she only agreed to meet with prosecutors after learning that the defense intended to argue that she was the pumer. Sean Kelly, a neighbor in the area, observed from his window two women arguing and fighting physically. Kelly testified that he heard pew pew fire and saw muzzle flashes near one of the women. Kelly acknowledged that he had previously identified the as female. Kelly also acknowledged that he previously stated that the shorter man ran to the and attempted to take the firearm away. At trial, however, Kelly changed his story and claimed that the shorter man also fired the gun 5 times. Ooh, I said the G word. At this point, I don't even care. I just want to get through the court doc. Both Harris and Peterson had gunshot residue on their hands. Despite the fact that Peterson and Harris both tested positive for GSR, DNA was only taken from Mr. Peterson for comparison to the firearm and magazine. The test result ruled Peterson out as a contributor of the DNA recovered on the magazine and were inconclusive on the pum. Okay. They are going after the fact that they believe that this was a mistrial and there were several errors made. Now, like I said, there is a lot of information in here to go through. All right. Multiple times throughout the trial, Pete was allowed to improperly answer questions in a narrative format, including testimony concerning irrelevant and inadmissible matters, such as her feelings regarding the circumstances of the incident in this case, its aftermath. At trial, prosecutors improperly elicited testimony from Pete on numerous subjects, over defense objections, and various grounds. For example, the court overruled counsel's relevance objection to the following. The question: why do you feel like you can look weak up? Why do you feel like you can't look weak up there on the witness stand? Her answer: because I want to come off as a strong woman. I don't want to give them the power that I feel like they've been taking from me for the past going on 3 years. Over objection based on speculation and relevance ground, the court allowed the following line of questioning. Question: you said something about you feel like you couldn't tell the police everything, something about the boys club. Do you remember that? Megan's answer: as everybody knows at this point, now that I come forward and I said I was pew and I'm pew by Peterson, it feels like every man with a position of power, every man that is in a position of power in the music industry, even people who aren't even rappers, they never even cared about what my side of the story was. They immediately took the side of this man and have been giving me hell for the past 3 years. Question: and has that still been going on? Her answer: yes. There's not a day that goes by where somebody is not calling me a liar or is not shaming me for being a grown woman and having eggs. This whole story has been about the pure. It's only about who Peterson is having eggs with, and I don't understand why that matters. Over relevance objection, Pete testified that her career was bigger than Peterson's, that the situation has only been worse for her, and that he gained a lot of popularity as a result. Prosecution then asked over objection. Pete then explained why she feels embarrassed. I'm embarrassed because I'm a grown woman hanging out with people I don't have no business hanging out with. Why can't I see when somebody is clearly bad and now I'm going to hang out with him? Now look at how everybody views me. During direct and over relevance objection, the people take Pete to describe how she felt about going under anesthesia during surgery. So basically what they're showing is there were times when his lawyer was trying to object to something and the courts overruled it. And they were objecting because they were trying to get to the relevance. But you know what? In this situation, if you ask me, I feel like her expressing how this had affected her career, affected how people view her, and all of that. I mean, to me, that's relevant. I want to hear that. I want to know how it's affected you. I want to know all of that. But then again, I don't know. Maybe I want to know that because I am a woman and because I do empathize with another woman. At the same time, a lot of people were bringing the eggs into the situation because that was something that was, I mean, come on. It was something that was concealed. And I don't even know why it was concealed. Okay. I'm looking at another document. Pending Megan. Jeez Louise, where is it? Because this is another long document. Whew. Okay, because I'm trying to get what Mr. What is this? 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 I have statements here. By Miss Holly. Man, you wear 5 people over, yes, ma'am. If y'all want to see what I'm scrolling through, I don't have a problem with showing y'all what I'm scrolling through, but baby, baby, I'll share it with y'all. Baby, 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 it's the testimony. Baby, I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna find it. Baby, I'm gonna find it. Oh no, that's not EJ's testimony. You know what I find very, 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 very suspicious about all of this too? Is the fact that Quan, Megan asked Quan to take her back to Miss. Okay. Who is talking? Who is talking? Who is talking? Do 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 do. It doesn't say who is talking. That's pissing me off. Anyway, at the end of the day, I'm gonna have to keep scrolling, guys, because I'm gonna find Mr. Kelly's testimony for you guys. I'm gonna share that tab instead because I'm just over it with this infinite scroll that I'm doing. So what I am scrolling through is the testimony, okay? And I didn't see it, but I know it's in here, so we're gonna have to. I'm not even looking. I don't want to know. But anyway, as you can see from all of this, okay. I seen something. A report in my reference investigation I conducted concluded an interview. Why didn't you? Why didn't you include anything about Mr. Kelly's observation? Okay, in your first report. All right. All right. So we established that you were assigned this case 2 days after the incident. Yes. When you got the file, I'm assuming you read the report of the officer, Lind and Cabral, on the scene shortly after the incident. Yes. So you were aware that Mr. Kelly had told them that he saw two females physically fighting, correct? Yes. Okay. So this is around the area where we're talking about. All right. Y'all want me to just read this whole thing? Y'all want me to read all of that? I don't even know why I asked y'all that. Okay, well, Edna said no. I'm gonna call y'all back. Said no. Passion said read it. That's 2 for 2. What? What Black Queen talks? I ain't said nothing. I've been trying not to pay attention to these comments because y'all are really going back and forth with each other. Yes, yes. No, not really. Lord, let me finish these last 2 hours of work. I've been procrastinating. I hold 2 masters and I'll go around Florida. Huh? I don't know what you're talking about. Read it, Henny. Read the facts. We nosy. I'm nosy too, but golly, I feel the tension coming up off of this, and it's just like, it's a lot of smoke being had in these comments. Read it, sis. They going ham in these comments. I know, and I know it's all love, but golly, y'all are going for the throat up in here. Lee, who you talking to? Lord, let's not talk about this case anymore. It's not fun. Wilson, I'm trying to tell you, give us facts, Henny. LOL, you have delusionals, and that's, oh no. We need security. You are security. They busting caps and everything down here. Lord have mercy. No. Child, I'm gonna read. We gonna read. Okay, so let's go up here and let's figure out who this testimony is. Jeez Louise. I don't even think I want to touch this subject no more because y'all is vicious down in these comments and y'all supposed to be loving one another. No, I'm not reading all of that. No, I'm not reading all of that. I'm just gonna see where the testimony change hands at, and we gonna start from there. I thought I could go to everyone that started at number 1. Who are they talking to? See, this is why I needed to go through this, like, on paper. And I wasn't trying to come on with this part of everything just yet. Child, I'm about to drop this video down. Like, y'all not getting this video. This video is a hot ass mess compared to everything that I've done in the past. And that's because y'all are going at it. And I'm trying not to get. Child. All right. Miss TA, the court, you may proceed. Miss Holly. Okay, I don't know who Miss Holly is right now, and I really don't even want to care. Did you see her statement on Instagram Live on August 20th of 2022 that she said she lied to the doctors because of, okay, we're going to have to. I don't want to because y'all are already cutting the hell up. And I'm going to tell y'all like this. I'm going to read all of this. Y'all see all of this? I'm going to read it. Okay. Reporter's transcript of preliminary hearing December 14th, Tuesday, December 14th of 2021. Okay. The defendant is Sean Holly, attorney at law for the defense. For the defendant, Sean Holly, attorney at law for the People District Attorney, Kathy TA. All right. All right. Let's go. People's witness, direct cross. Okay, Cassandra, Ryan Stronger. Okay, so we know he's the detective. All right, those are the exhibits. The defendant, Peterson, with his counsel. All right, Miss Holly. Okay, Sean Holly on behalf of Mr. Peterson. He is present before the court. Miss Ta. Okay. Miss Holly, okay. Further reading of the complaint. Statements of rights waived. Yes, the court. Okay, Miss Holly. Any other witnesses present in the court? Miss Ta outside the first witness? No, the court may understanding. You may call your first witness. The people call Officer Cabral. All right. Solemnly swore him in. Sandra Cabral called as a witness by the people, being had first duly sworn. The witness, Sandra Cabral, please spell it. First name, last name. Good morning. What is your occupation and division? Okay, the Hollywood division. How long have you been a sworn officer? 3 years. So she's still a rookie. Have you completed the peace officer standards? Yes. Okay. On July 12th of 2020, about 4:30 in the morning, did you respond to an area of North Nichols Canyon in the county of Los Angeles? The officer says, yes, I did. Attorney goes on to ask, is that in the neighborhood of the Hollywood Hills area? The officer says, correct. Okay, the DA says, were you responding to a call regarding shots fired? The officer says, yes. The DA says, while you were en route to that location, what did you see? Officer Cabral says, we observed a black SUV Cadillac traveling on Hollywood Boulevard away from the location where we were responding to. As part of that call, did you receive a suspect vehicle description? The officer says, yes. The DA, the vehicle you saw, did it match the suspect, match the suspect vehicle? The officer says, yes. The DA says, once you saw the vehicle, did you go to the scene with a partner? The answer of the vehicle, yes. And when you spotted this vehicle, did you guys do a felony detention stop of the vehicle? The officer responds, yes, we did. Upon doing that stop, could you see how many occupants were in the vehicle? The officer says, not initially. At some point, were you able to determine how many occupants were in the vehicle? The officer says, yes. How many occupants in the vehicle? 4. Do you see any in the court in here that you saw that date? I do. Okay, so then she goes on to identify Mr. Peterson, which is Tory. Okay, he's in the front of the SUV, and the driver and the female passengers in the rear. Okay. She was located in the rear seat. Was she sitting behind Mr. Daystar? So the other female in the vehicle was that person later identified as Kelsey Harris. Yes, she was in the rear passenger seat behind the driver. Yes, she was. Once all the occupants were removed with respect to the female identification that identified as Megan, did you observe any injuries? I did. What injuries did you observe? She was bleeding from her right foot. Did you do some type of inspection of the interior of the SUV? I did. Did you find anything in the front of the passenger seat area where the defendant was located? Miss Holly, objection. Leading. The court overruled it. The witness said, yes, I did. What did you find? An olive green pume pume on the floorboard of the front passenger seat. Could you repeat that one more time? So they did. Was this a semi-automatic? Yes, it was. Did you inspect it? As far as rendering it safe? Yes, I did. As you were rendering it safe, what did you notice about the firearm? The firearm was warm to touch. This is ridiculous. I'm about to come over here and peek and see what y'all are doing. I heard that. It is. And I really want to stop because I don't like the way y'all are acting in these comments. It's Hollywood's go-to criminal defense attorney. She has the reputation of being a bulldog. She was the one told them to plead and allegedly told him to bribe Kelsey. Allegedly. I like how you threw the allegedly in there. Girl, I'm about to go in the bathroom with them. Why are you playing? Hold on one second, guys, because I need to 23. Okay, hold on. I don't really want to read all of the officers' accounts. I'm just trying to get to Mr. Kelly. Y'all want me to read all of that, and I don't want to. I turned it off because give me a second to show you where it's located. Shooting the rear passenger. That's Kelsey. That is page 23. This is page 25. I just want to see. I'm trying to get to where they talk about Mr. Kelly. Because in all honesty, if I'm going to be honest with y'all, the energy coming off of this is draining. I'm not even going to lie to y'all. I don't like the fact that y'all are going back and forth with one another. I don't like the fact that y'all are arguing with each other. I don't like it. Because to me, it's like, this is what we go through when we talk about stuff that goes on with Krishan. Actually, this is a better way to open this document anyway. Okay. Oh, yeah, this is way better to put it in this format instead of the one that it was in. Okay. All right, we're going to go here to the cross-examination of Detective Holly, and then I'm going to call it a freaking day because I'm so like, all right, is this what y'all are looking at? Let me see. Okay, we are on the cross-examination, and we're going to read this. I'm going to have to go and edit this video down so bad. It's not there. Where are you? You're here. Okay. So cross-examination by Miss Holly, which is Tory Lanez. This is Detective Stogner now is on the stand, and this is Tory's attorney that is on cross-examination of him. All right, so all right. You are only aware of 5 people that were eyewitnesses of the incident. Okay. He says, yes, ma'am, Miss Holly. Those people are Megan, Jaquan Smith, Kelsey Harris, Daystar Peterson, and Sean Kelly. Correct? The officer answers correct. Miss Holly. Now, Mr. Kelly is an eyewitness who saw the incident from his balcony after being awakened to the sound of an argument, correct? The officer says yes. Miss Holly, you have spoken with Mr. Kelly, correct? Officer Strager, yes. Miss Kelly, now of those 5 witnesses, only 2 of them gave statements to the police, correct? That would be Megan and Mr. Kelly, correct? Wait, pause. You got 5 witnesses, to which 4 of these witnesses were in the car. This one was an outside witness. Yet you only only 2 gave statements to the police. Does anybody find anything wrong with that? Okay, I'm going to read that again and then come back and ask my question because I see y'all are just going back and forth with each other and I don't like it. I'm 2 seconds from ending this video and never speaking on this shit ever again because I don't like it. I really don't. It's making this not fun. This was supposed to be fun. Y'all too serious in these comments for me. All right. Are you only aware of 5 people that were eyewitnesses to the incident? You are only aware of 5 people that were witnesses to this incident, correct? The officer replies, yes, ma'am. Miss Holly says those people were Megan, Jaquan Smith, Kelsey Harris, Daystar Peterson, and Sean Kelly, correct? Officer Strager says correct. Miss Holly, now, Mr. Kelly is an eyewitness who saw the incident from his balcony after being awakened to the sounds of an argument, correct? Officer Strager, yes. Miss Kelly, you have spoken with Mr. Kelly, correct? Officer Strager, yes. Miss Holly, now of those 5 witnesses, only 2 of them gave statements to the police, correct? Is what he said. She said that would be Megan and Mr. Kelly, correct? Yes, is what he said. That's suspect to me. Thank you. Finally, somebody who's yes. Yes. Felicia, but the thing is, 4 of those 5 people were 4 people that were directly involved with the incident right there. They were right there in the car. They were privy to firsthand knowledge. But you got the victim and an outside witness, the only 2 people making a statement. Not the 2 people that's accused of being the pumers, and not even the driver. You see what I mean by I feel like this case wasn't handled correctly. So how could we sit back like, no, this wasn't handled right in my eyes. Okay. Now it says, sorry, I scrolled up and misplaced myself. Okay, from the balcony, Okay, yes, would you agree with me that the accounts about what happened as told to you by Mr. Kelly and by Megan are substantially different? Officer Strager says they are different. Yes. Miss Holly, would you agree that Mr. Kelly, unlike Megan, is an independent witness? Officer Strager, yes. Miss Holly, in other words, he has no particular interest in this incident, correct? Officer Strager, correct. Miss Holly, he doesn't know any of the people involved, right? Officer Strager, not that I'm aware of. Miss Holly, he didn't even know who Tory Lanez or Megan the Stallion were, right? Officer Strager, correct. Miss Holly, he only became known to you when officers canvassed the area and shortly after the incident to see if there were any witnesses to it, correct? Officer Strager, yes. Miss Holly, and Mr. Kelly acknowledged having been an eyewitness to the incident, correct? Officer Strager, yes. Miss Holly, as you testified, Megan lied to the police about what initially happened. Officer Strager, yes. Miss Holly, she lied to several police officers about what happened, correct? Officer Strager, yes. Miss Holly, she also lied to doctors at Cedars-Sinai about what happened, correct? Miss Ta, objection. Foundation calls for hearsay. Miss Holly, it's definitely not offered for the truth of the matter. The court, all right, it's not offered for the truth, overruled on the bias. Okay, by Miss Holly, she lied to the doctors at Cedars-Sinai about what happened, correct? Officer Strager, I believe so, yes. Miss Holly, she told officers and the doctors she had cut her foot on glass. Is that right? Officer Strager, yes. Miss Holly, and in fact, the doctor said that her injury appeared consistent with lacerations from glass, correct? Officer Strager, yes. Don't y'all get down in them comments acting crazy. Don't you do it. Don't do it. Okay. I'm just reading. This is from the courts. All right. Okay. And in fact, the doctor said that her injury appeared consistent with lacerations from glass, correct? Officer Strager, yes. Oh, Lord. Okay. So, of course, the DA, Ms. Taub, objection, calls for foundation. The court overruled. Ms. Ta, hearsay. The court, 115, the doctor told him that by Ms. Holly. So initially, the officers believed her, correct? Officer Strager, that I don't know. Ms. Ta, objection. Calls for foundation. Hearsay, speculation. The court is sustained. It's irrelevant. The doctors also believed her, didn't they? Ms. Ta, objection. Calls for speculation. Ms. Holly, let me rephrase. The court sustained. You may. Ms. Holly, did you learn through course of your investigation as investigating officer that the doctors believed her initially. Officer Strager, they question that they said so. Ms. Ta, I will make the same. It does not actually call for hearsay, foundational issues, calls for speculations. It's irrelevant. The court, it's irrelevant, sustained. So their line of questioning is being shut down. Interesting. Miss Holly continues. Now, as you testified, Megan said that she lied in part because she was afraid that because they were all black people, that the police would shoot them if they knew they had a gun in the car, correct? Officer Strager, yes. Miss Holly, did you see the video that she posted of herself discussing why she lied on Instagram Live on August 20th, 2022? Officer Strager, no ma'am. Miss Holly, are you aware of her statement? Quote, you think I'm about to tell the police that we ninjas, us black people in the car? You want me to tell the laws we got a pew pew in the car so they could pew pew us all? I ain't tell the police what happened immediately right then because I didn't tell the police what happened immediately right then because I did not want to unalive. Are you aware of the statement that she made? Officer Strager, not specifically, no. Miss Holly, now once everybody was ordered out of the car by the police, Tory, Jaquan, and Kelsey were handcuffed and taken into Hollywood Police Division, correct? Officer Strager, yes. Miss Holly, and Megan was placed in the ambulance where she was handcuffed and accompanied to Cedar Sinai by a female LAPD officer. Officer Strager, I understand she was transported to the hospital. I'm not aware if she was handcuffed or not, ma'am. Miss Holly, you haven't seen the body cam footage from the ambulance ride? Officer Strager, I have seen a lot of body cam footage. Don't specifically recall that at this time. Miss Holly, were the paramedics in the ambulance? Mr. Strager, yes. Miss Holly, so you agree with me that there was no damage at all to Megan of being by the police once she was in the ambulance on the way to the hospital? Officer Strager, I would agree with that, yes. Miss Holly, yet she didn't tell the female officer or any officer in the ambulance that she had been pumed, correct? Officer Strager, correct. Would you agree with me that when she got to Cedar, she was in no danger of being by the police? Officer Strager, I would agree. Miss Holly, and yet she didn't tell any of the officers at Cedars that she was injured, that her injury was not caused by glass, correct? Officer Strager, correct. Miss Holly, because she stuck with that story. Isn't it true that the officers left the hospital without interviewing her further? Officer Strager, yes. Now, hold on. Time out. Flag on the play again. When a person is injured and the police usually escort them, and I'm saying usually, when the police accompany you to the hospital, they usually take a statement from you. They don't leave without getting a statement from you because you're the alleged, but then again, let me back up. Because it was unknown to them that she had been pumed. But what was the call for? What was the call for? No, didn't they get see, this is why I got to go back. I'm going to finish reading this when we get through the Officer Kelly part and all of that. But when we come back to this, because I think we might come back to this tomorrow, provided that now everybody has calmed down, tempers have kind of, subsided. I don't know what's going on in these comments. I don't know if the mods end up putting people out or what happened, because it did get very heated in here. I mean, very heated in here. to the point where I was ready to like dead this whole life. I ain't even gonna hold you. Oh, was this up there the whole time? My bad, y'all. I'm gonna go back because those 911 calls and all of that stuff. They didn't get a call for shots fired. I agree with you, ML. As far as they could have still interviewed her even if she was drunk, because here's the thing, all of them were drunk, so nobody got arrested for public intoxication either, because EJ testified they were all drunk as hell, because Kelsey was passed out on a floaty device just floating around in the pool, passed out drunk. What I don't like is the fact that they are not handling this matter. This is what I'm trying to highlight, y'all. I'm sorry, Buttercup. I'm caught off guard by this. What do you mean? Yes, they did that. They got the call for shots fired. And here's the other thing. Let's go back to the pew pew in the car. Because you touch the pew pew and it's in the car and it's hot. And you got 4 people in the car, but you arrest only 1. You take 3 into custody and arrest only 1, but nobody has admitted to the pew pew being theirs. So shouldn't there have been 3 people still in custody and a statement taken from the person who's injured? Because if you got a call for shots fired and the pew pew is warm, why aren't you taking a statement from the victim when y'all should be privy and versed in DV situations to know that victims often will tell falsities to what really happened? So y'all didn't press her to get the story out, and y'all just set your eyes on one person. That does not make sense to me. And again, that's on the outside looking in. Yes, she was. I am Toya. She was in a whole nother world on that floaty, okay? Just floating around the pool, passed out. I mean, this is what I'm saying. This is what, see, now y'all picking up what I'm putting down. Everybody should have been detained. As far as I know, possession is 9/10 of the law, and nobody was in possession of the weapon. Like one person didn't have it on them. It was in the vehicle. So therefore, being in the vehicle, it's in the possession of everyone in the vehicle. There's missing pieces to this. This is why I want to dig into this, but y'all got to be willing to hear what I'm saying. Because I'm not taking sides to make a case look good for one person or the other. What I'm looking at is the facts that were not the facts of the facts, that we're missing facts. And there's things that aren't normally done in this case. There's things that were not. There were things done in this case that are not normally done in these situations. And for those of us who grow up in these types of neighborhoods around this type of lifestyle, we all know what normally and traditionally happens. And it didn't happen here. All right, let's continue. So now this is after, because she was struck with that story, isn't it true that because she stuck with that story, isn't it true that officers left the hospital without interviewing her further. He says yes, and here come the DA. Objection withdrawn. The court, you may proceed. So they tried to object to Miss Holly saying that after this, they left. And if you're noticing, I'm sorry, I am going to say this. If you're looking at the way that the objections are coming into place, and this is just me from my observation, but it's looking to me like everything that this new lawyer has said falls into place, and it makes sense as to why they would not have subpoenaed Mr. Smith to come into court and give his testimony, because it looks like everything that they're trying to get out there, the fact that she was not interviewed, it did not have a statement made, like that she the fact that she wasn't interviewed that night shows a drop in the ball. And what does the DA do? The DA goes withdraw. Now, I understand the DA's job is to protect the state, and they represent the state of California and the county that they in and all of that. However, the fact is the fact. The fact is they didn't interview her and they left. Anyway, Officer Strager says, no, I haven't seen just any of the Instagram. Okay, wait a minute. Go back. Any of the doctors may have appeared to the police. I'm not aware of. Okay, objection right here. Okay, this is where we were. Did you see her videotape statement on Instagram on August 20th, 2022, that she said that she lied to the doctors because of the police? A similar thing during the videotape. Okay, I think she asked him this question again. Objection. Okay. She said she lied to the doctors. Okay, yeah, all right. I got confused because she asked this question again. Oh, this is okay. That she said that she lied to the doctors because she thought the doctors at Cedar were actually the police. Mr. Strager, Officer Strager, no. Miss Holly, as far as you're aware, was there anything about the doctors that made them appear to be police? Officer Strager, not that I'm aware of. Miss Holly, during her Instagram, did you hear her say, I didn't tell the police nothing because I didn't want us to get into no more trouble than we already about to get in? Officer Strager, no, I haven't seen any of the Instagram. Miss Holly, she did say a similar thing to you during a videotaped interview with her, Officer Strager. Yes, so clearly she wasn't interviewed that night, but she was allowed to come in and interview to give a statement later. Because here's the thing, remember, it was only her and Mr. Kelly that gave statements out of the 5 people that are considered to be witnesses to this event. Okay. Miss Holly, did you ever ask her why she would say that she might be in trouble if she had simply been the victim of wounds that she claims? Officer Strager, yes. Miss Holly, why did she say she might be in trouble? Officer Strager, she expressed that she was traumatized and scared and embarrassed that the incident had occurred and was not thinking clearly. Miss Holly, so is your answer that she said she'd be in trouble because she wasn't thinking clearly? Officer Strager, that's what she said. Pause. Let me highlight this because this is where we at. We at 18. She wasn't thinking clearly. She was drunk. So to me, that's not an inaccurate statement. If she was drinking as much as EJ said she was drinking, because remember, EJ said they was drinking before they got to the Kylie Jenner party. And back then that maid could put them away. So it's not exactly a lie that she wasn't thinking clearly. All right. Muted myself. They should have humped it out. She's, you know what? Good night. I'm gonna call y'all back. Go to sleep. All right. So now, Miss Holly, by the way, have you ever questioned her about any of the statements that she made to the media or social media? Officer Strager says no. Miss Holly, if she has made statements which are inconsistent with what she told you, would you consider that to be important? Officer Strager, yes. Miss Holly, but you haven't looked at any of the statements she made on her own social media, including on video. Officer Strager, no. Miss Holly, are you aware that she wrote on her Instagram August 19th, I got hit at the back of my feet because when I got blocka blocka, this part is in all caps, walking away facing the back. Now, damn it. You got Mr. Kelly. You got Mr. Kelly. Oh, man, I forgot I got on my eyeliner. Anyway, telling you that that's not what happened. That she and Kelsey were actually fighting with one another. Right? You got Jaquan telling you that they were fighting with each other and that the fight was broken up. It is very much possible that she was walking away, but she wasn't walking away the way that she said she was walking away. What I want to know is, why are they concealing the fact that they had a physical and verbal altercation with one another? That's what I want to know. To me, it's coming off like it's seeming like everybody's protecting Kelsey. That's what it looks like. I could be wrong. That's a good question, Angel. That's a good question. Can we call this segment Judge Henny and play the law? No, I'm sick of y'all. I'm just saying. The fight gives Kelsey motive. Exactly. That's what stands out to me. Neither woman will admit getting into a physical or verbal altercation. Why? This is what I'm saying. So is it that by not mentioning that, could it be that Meg and Kelsey worked together to take Tory down because Tory was running back and forth between the two of them? I don't know why I felt like doing that. That doesn't go with this segment. It doesn't even go with what I just did. My bad, y'all. But they got to be in agreement with one another. Battle of the Coochies. I'm just saying. This is giving me more questions than answers. It goes, do it again. I don't think it does, but like a setup. I don't even know if it was a setup. I don't know. But this is so weird because Tory's trying to protect Kelsey. If this is the case, if it was Kelsey, Tory's trying to protect Kelsey. Meg is trying to protect Kelsey by not saying that that is what happened. And Kelsey's protecting Megan by not saying that they had to fight. And Tory's protecting everybody by not saying nothing. Anyway, let's go back to okay. So now Officer Strager says, I'm aware that there are multiple statements and multiple videos made by her on social media. So you know about the videos, but you haven't watched the video. You a cop. Your job is to be nosy. We don't believe you. We know you seen them videos, sir. Okay, so Miss Holly, but you haven't seen any of those, right? Okay, Miss Holly, I'm with you on that one, but you haven't seen them. You know they out there, but you ain't see them. You ain't even see a clip. Anyway, Miss Holly, but you haven't seen any of those. Officer Straga, no ma'am. I conduct my investigation independently of any social media posts. That, in this day and age, that's not going to work. You're not a good detective then. Anyway, Miss Holly, would you agree with me that there are a number of inconsistencies and make statements to you, to other LAPD officers, and to the media about the incident? Here go the DA. Well, objection. Calls for speculation. As to statements to the media, this officer specifically said he did not review those specific posts. Hold up, because she did not say social media. She said media. The court, if you know, if you don't, you don't. If you know, overruled. Wait a minute, hold up. The judge said, if you know, if you don't, you don't, if you know. Overruled. What the fuck? That's like us saying, if you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. Is that what she's saying here? Anyway, it was overruled. Okay, the witness. Okay, I'm aware of inconsistent statements made between responding officers and myself by Miss Holly. Question by Miss Holly. Would you agree with me that there's a great deal of information that may get omitted? Statements to you about the incidents and the events leading up to the incident. Here go the DA. Objection. Vague. The court. If you understand the question. Overruled. Officer Strager, can you repeat the question, ma'am? Miss Holly, sure. Would you agree that Meg left out a lot of information in providing her statements to you about the incident and the events leading up to the incident? Officer Strager, I don't know what she may or may not have left out. Miss Holly, okay. Now, Meg, and I'm going to call him Tory. Is that all right? Meg and Tory first saw each other on July 12th at Kylie Jenner's house, correct? Officer Strager, yes. Miss Holly, you understood that Meg and Kelsey and another friend, EJ, had been at Miss Jenner's home throughout the day. Officer Strager, yes. Miss Holly, it was just those 4 people, right? Officer Strager, I'm not sure if it was just them 4, but she did tell me that they were at the house throughout the day. Miss Holly, and she told you that it wasn't a pool party and it wasn't even a gathering, just a few people hanging out, right? Officer Strager, yes. Miss Holly, now did Meg ever tell you that it was she who invited Tory to the house? Officer Strager, no. Miss Holly, in your videotape interview of her as well, telling the story of how Tory got there, she said, quote, so originally Tory wasn't with us when he came over. Do you remember that? Officer Strager, yes. Miss Holly, then you asked her. You and Kelsey were hanging out, and at some point in the night, Tory shows up. Her response was, uh-huh. Do you remember that? Officer Strager, yes. Miss Holly, she never clarified to you that he didn't just show up, but that she invited him, did she? Officer Strager, she did not. Miss Holly, did she ever tell you that she gave him the address so he could come there? Officer Strager, I did not know. Miss Holly, you didn't ask her either, did you? Officer Strager, I did not. Miss Holly, did she tell you that prior to Tory arriving that they had been drinking all day? Officer Strager, yes. Miss Holly, and that Tory didn't arrive until much later. Officer Strager, yes. And by the end of the night, or really the early morning, everyone had had a lot to drink. Officer Strager, yes. Miss Holly, now you never asked Megan how much she had to drink that day and night, did you? Officer Strager, not specifically, no. Miss Holly, you never asked her how impaired or intoxicated she was at the time of the incident, did you? Officer Strager, no. Not specifically, no. Miss Holly, but you are aware of the fact that alcohol can impair a person's perception, correct? Officer Strager, yes. Miss Holly, and their ability to recall, correct? Officer Strager, yes. Miss Holly, you were assigned this case as the investigating officer on July 14th, 2 days after the incident, correct? Officer Strager, yes. Miss Holly, and you have the first telephonic interview with Megan on July 16th, correct? Officer Strager, correct. Miss Holly, now in that interview, she told you that she and Tory were arguing about leaving a party and that she wanted to leave, but Tory did not, correct? Officer Strager, yes. Miss Holly, and as you just testified, when you met with her in person on November 12th, pause. Pause. The incident happened on July 12th. But y'all don't sit down with her to interview until November 12th. And she wasn't on tour from what I know. She was doing her Hotties boot camp and that little thing that used to come up on Snapchat with her and the doggy. With Four, the Frenchie. I know that a lot of this stuff already came out, but to me, it's just like refreshing and going over it is like, what? Okay, so let's go ahead. And as you just testified, when you met with her in person on November 12th, she clarified to you that it wasn't a pool party, right? Officer Strager, yes. Miss Holly, now she and Kelsey and EJ, oh, you scared me, had gone to Miss Jenner's house together in EJ's car, correct? Officer Strager, I'm not sure whose car they were in, but they did travel together, yes. Miss Holly, may I have a moment? The court, yes. By Miss Holly. So Meg, Kelsey, and EJ had gone to Miss Jenner's house together in a car, correct? Officer Strager, yes. Miss Holly, and EJ and the car were still there at the time when Megan wanted to leave the house, correct? Officer Strager, I don't know. Miss Holly, well, she told you that, didn't she? Officer Strager, I don't recall. Miss Holly, you asked her about that the person she came with was still there. You asked her why she wanted to leave with Tory, and she said it was a last-minute thing, remember? Officer Strager, she did say it was a last-minute thing. Miss Holly, did you ask her why she was arguing with Tory about his not wanting to leave when she wanted to leave when the person she came with was still there? Officer Strager, no, it didn't seem relevant to me at the time. Miss Holly, so it didn't seem relevant to you to ask her why she wanted to leave with Tory and not EJ, the person she came with? Officer Strager, no. Miss Holly, and she never explained that to you? Officer Strager, no. Miss Holly, she did tell you that it was a last-minute thing that she wanted to leave with Tory, right? Officer Strager, she stated that they had been friends for approximately a year and it was not uncommon for them to be in each other's company. Miss Holly, and that he would go over to her house all the time, right? Officer Strager, yes. Did you ever learn that Megan was not truthful to you about the nature of her relationship with Tory? Officer Strager, no. Miss Holly, and you didn't think it was important? DA Ty. Well, objection. Misstates the testimony. The court sustained. Question by Ms. Holly. Now, at some point, Megan and Kelsey got into the Escalade being driven by Quan, his bodyguard. Officer Strager, yes. Ms. Holly, as far as you could determine, Quan had been waiting in the car by the time Tory had gone into Miss Jenner's house. Correct? In other words, he wasn't part of the gathering. He's the driver sitting in the car, is your understanding. Officer Strager, that's my understanding. Okay. Miss Holly, did Megan ever tell you that at the end of the night or early morning, when she was ready to leave, that she had EJ and Kelsey take all of her and Kelsey's belongings out of EJ's car and put them in Tory's car, the car Quan was driving? Officer Strager, she told me that she did have personal items in Tory's car. Miss Holly, she didn't tell you that she had them take all her personal belongings that had been in EJ's car in the car she came in, take them out and put them in Tory's car. She didn't tell you that? Officer Strager, no. Miss Holly, she did tell you that when she was ready to leave, that Tory was in the pool with Miss Jenner, right? Officer Strager, yes. Miss Holly, so she told Quan to take her and Kelsey home and go back and get Tory, right? Officer Strager, yes. Miss Holly, and none of that seemed odd to you, given that the person she came with and his car was still there? Officer Strager, no. Miss Holly, did Meg tell you that Quan actually drove her and Kelsey away from Miss Jenner's and they made it close to Megan's house or where she was staying when Megan asked Quan to take her back to Miss Jenner's house? Officer Strager, no. Miss Holly, see, she told you it wasn't a big deal that Tory wanted to stay, right? Officer Strager, correct. Miss Holly, but she also told you on July 16th that this was the source of the argument in the car, that she was ready to leave and he wasn't ready to leave, right? Officer Strager, yes. Whoa. I'm gonna keep going. Miss Holly, she told you that when she came out to Quan's car, she went back in again to tell Tory again that she was ready to leave. Do you remember that? Officer Strager, I'm sorry, I could not hear. Miss Holly, did she tell you that she came out, went back, came out again, and tried to get Tory to leave? Officer Strager, she said that there was some back and forth trying to leave the party. Miss Holly, and then Quan went in to get Tory, right? Officer Strager, yes. And then, according to Megan, Tory was upset when he came out to the car with Quan, right? Officer Strager, yes. Miss Holly, it appeared to her that he was upset because she was insistent that they leave, right? Officer Strager, that's what she told me, yes. Miss Holly, and she was upset that he wasn't leaving when she wanted him to leave, right? Officer Strager, that I don't know, ma'am. Miss Holly, would you agree with me that a witness's memory of events is clearer in their minds closer? Would you agree with me that a witness's memory of events is clearer in their minds closer to the event than further from it? Officer Strager, usually, yes. Miss Holly, don't you think a few hours after the incident when Meg was in the hospital that she told Officer Gomez and Mejia that the verbal argument in the car was between she and Kelsey? Wait a minute. Don't you think a few hours after the incident when Megan was in the hospital that she told officers Gomez and Mejia that the verbal argument in the car was between she and Kelsey? Objection. Calls for hearsay. Miss Holly, it's not offered for the truth. Miss Ty, relevance. Miss Holly, it is an important inconsistent statement. The court, what is the relevance? Miss Holly, that she said that this argument is key to what happened. And she has told many inconsistent stories about who this argument cut off by the courts. What is the nature of that argument? Miss Holly, I promise I will get into that. Ms. Ta, it still does call for hearsay, although counsel is saying prior inconsistent statement. They still need to be made through admissible testimony. Right now, it's double layers of hearsay. Counsel is asking whether or not the officer is aware of statements made to another officer when he wasn't present for that conversation. Miss Holly, he is the investigating officer who presumably has read the reports. If Megan was here herself, those are the questions that we put to her. It certainly doesn't seem fair in the proceedings that the courts cut her off and said one layer of hearsay. That's the second layer. So the statement, the inconsistent statement to the officer, hearsay exception. Second layer. Is that correct? Or Miss Holly, yes, courts, or Miss Holly, no, you are correct. But it is also not hearsay. It is a prior inconsistent statement, which she would be confronted with if she were here. Now, if he says he wasn't aware of it as the investigating officer, then it is what it is. But it is central to the court. The objection is sustained. There's no foundation. Child. How y'all doing over there? That's what it sounds like. Like they did no police work. And she surely didn't sound like she was mad at Tory. Did she question his why? Right. This sounds so unprofessional. Right. Very suspicious. A statement should have been taken from all parties involved in the incident. This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. I already knew that this video wasn't going to be very popular, and that's fine. I don't care. I need a break from the circus, y'all. That's why I said it's not circus, but it's another circus, all right? All right, so they stopped it because they found that there was no foundation in her asking him to make another statement about a statement. So Miss Holly proceeds to question, have you received any information at all as the investigating officer that Megan said that the argument was between her and Kelsey? Officer Strager, Megan has also stated to me that she and Kelsey were arguing. Miss Holly, isn't it true that Mr. Kelly, the independent witness, observed a physical fight between Megan and Kelsey? Officer Strager, that is what he said. Miss Holly, now when you interviewed her on the phone on July 16th, it was then that she claimed the argument was between her and Tory about leaving the party, right? Officer Strager, yes. Miss Holly, and when you interviewed her in November, she said that Kelsey and Tory were arguing, right? Officer Strager, yes. Miss Holly, did you ask her any follow-up questions on any of these stories about who was arguing with whom and why? Officer Strager, yes. Now stay with me. Did she tell you at some point, that the argument in the car escalated when Tory revealed to Kelsey that he was in an intimate relationship with Megan? Officer Strager, I did not. I'm not aware of that. Miss Holly, you don't remember that from your interview where she says that? Officer Strager, that Tory and Megan were in an intimate relationship? Question by Miss Holly. That Tory said in the car, and that is what escalated the argument. Officer Strager, no. Miss Holly, you don't remember that? Officer Strager, no. Miss Holly, you don't remember her saying that Tory bringing that up created, and this is her on the videotaped interview, drama because Kelsey knew Megan had a romantic interest in Tory? Pause. How he don't remember that and we remember that? How you, the investigating officer, which, correct me if I'm wrong, that means you're the lead on this. You the lead on this. And you don't remember, you didn't take the time. This is what I mean by they dropped the ball on how they were investigating this. I'm going to say this for those who come on later. Don't be tussling in the comments, because this is not about trying to prove somebody's innocence or guilt. This is about me exposing how this case was not handled correctly. How all of this is suspicious to me. You are the lead detective and you don't remember key important facts about this case. That is a very important key component to the fact, because that is the argument that escalated to the situation at hand. Am I Henny Glasses in the chat if I'm talking right? Because this is my understanding. The argument is very important. It's pertinent information. Just saying. And you don't remember certain shit being said. Like, come on, bro. You did horrible. Okay, Miss Holly, do you remember her saying that? Okay, okay, because it had a romantic interest. Okay, Officer Strager, that Kelsey had some affection for the defendant. Okay, that was his answer. Let me reread the question. Miss Holly, do you remember her saying that Tory bringing that up created, and this is her on the videotape interview, drama because Kelsey knew Megan had a romantic interest in Tory? Officer Strager, that Kelsey had some affection for the defendant. Miss Holly, do you remember Megan saying to you in your videotaped interview that Kelsey said that night in the car, this wasn't the first time that Megan, she said on the video, backdoored her with a guy? Do you remember that? Officer Strager, yes. At this point, give me his badge. At this point, give me his badge. Okay, because bruh. You didn't remember her saying that was the argument that started all of this, but you remember her saying that this wasn't the first time that Kelsey said, hold on. I got to wrap my head around this because do you remember the argument escalated because Tory said that he and Meg had a romantic relationship? No, I don't recall. Do you recall Megan on video saying to you that Kelsey said in the car that she was upset because this wasn't the first time that Megan backdoored her with a guy? Yes, I remember that. What? The two go hand in hand. The two are peanut butter and jelly. They go together. What are you talking? This is why I said what I said. Like, guys, calm down, okay? Because now do you see the that I'm talking about in here? Anyway, Miss Holly, did any of that shed any light for you as to why Megan was upset that Tory wasn't leaving the party or the gathering or the hangout at Miss Jenner's house? Officer Strager, no. I can't make this ish up. Y'all see it for yourselves as I'm reading it. Y'all see it for yourselves as I'm reading it. What? Bruh, what are we doing? How are you not able? I thought a detective's job was to take the pieces of the puzzle and put them all together. That's what I thought. Because how do you not see that? Oh, okay. So Megan and Tory. Okay, first of all, if Kelsey and Tory have a relationship, why the hell is she pressing him to leave the party? And why are they arguing about him not leaving the party? And then because she forced him to leave the party, they get in the car together and they arguing. And then he tells Kelsey, we've been fucking. While you was home sick with COVID, we was fucking. And now an argument ensues. Now I will say this. Technically, Megan didn't lie because the argument was with Tory at first, and then the argument was with Kelsey. It was just the chain of events. So I can say that she didn't lie about that part. But as the detective, how do you not put two and two together that, oh, shoot, her leaving the house and why she wasn't trying to leave with EJ and she was upset that Tory was leaving. Wasn't leaving and he was trying to stay with Kylie. Why all that came to this? It's all connected. Ooh. Baby, you would think that he don't sound like no LAPD to me. Anyway. Oh, I have your cord, yes.
Thank you.
She left for work? Yeah. She was supposed to go to vape shop for me. Anyway. Miss Holly, now Megan told you that during this argument in the car, which was either between her and Kelsey or Tory and Kelsey or Tory and her, honestly, all of that happened. All of that happened, okay? It's not or and or, it's and and and. That she got out of the car on Sunset Boulevard and sat at a bus stop, right? Officer Strager, yes. Miss Holly. And she was wearing a bikini at that time, right? Officer Strager, I believe so. And it's 4:30 in the morning, correct? Officer Strager, yes. Did you ask her how long she sat at the bus stop on Sunset Boulevard in her bikini at 4:30 in the morning? Officer Strager, from my understanding, it was a brief time, ma'am. Not sure of the exact amount, but a brief time. Miss Holly, and she told you that while she was at the bus stop, she called her manager and said, quote, she said to the manager, come get me because I don't want to be in the car when they are doing all of this argument, right? Officer Strager, yes. Miss Holly, again, she was saying that they are arguing, even though she had previously said that she was part of the argument, right? Officer Strager, yes. Miss Holly, at some point, Tory, with Quan driving, came back and got her to get back in the car from the bus stop, right? Officer Strager, yes. Miss Holly. And then she told you that she and Tory started arguing about their music careers and who was the best rapper, something like that. Officer Strager, something to that effect, yes. Miss Holly, when the car was on Nichols Canyon Road, she wanted to get out of the car again, right? Officer Strager, yes. Miss Holly, you have been to that location, yes? Officer Strager, yes. Miss Holly, it is very dark, isn't it? Officer Strager, yes, it is. Miss Holly, and a very narrow canyon street. Officer Strager, yes. Miss Holly, a residential. Officer Strager, yes. Miss Holly, a few houses in the general vicinity. Officer Strager, yes. And one of those houses is Mr. Kelly's, correct? Officer Strager, yes. And his balcony is just over the area the incident occurred, correct? Officer Strager, yes. Miss Holly, he told you that he was awakened by the sound of argument and he went to his balcony to see what was going on, right? Officer Strager, yes. Miss Holly, and LAPD officers spoke to him in person shortly after the incident, correct? Officer Strager, yes. And he said that it appeared to him that the muzzle flash was closest to the non-victim female at the time of the pew pew. right? Correct? Officer Strager, yes. Miss Holly, he also indicated that he saw the female passenger in the back of the car get out, open the front passenger door where the other female passenger was, and they started fighting and kicking one another, right? Pause. Who dragged who out the car? I can't remember. Wait, because Kelsey was sitting behind Quan. So now, hold on, because when we first heard this, right, it was Quan and Tory in the front and Megan and Kelsey in the back. But now you telling me, okay, so when they went to the bus stop, everybody played musical chairs? I'll have to check that out. Ciao. Miss Holly, an LAPD officer spoke with him in person shortly after the incident, right? Officer Strager, yes. And you spoke with him on the phone on July 16th, right? Officer Strager, yes. Miss Holly, did you ever go speak with him in person? Officer Strager, I attempted, but I was unable to meet with him in person. Oh, Lord. Miss Holly, so you did think it was important for you as an investigating officer to speak with him, the only independent witness to the incident. Officer Strager, yes. Miss Holly, would it surprise you to hear that Mr. Kelly felt that during your telephonic interview with him that it felt to him like nothing he had to say was important to you? Officer Strager, that wouldn't surprise me. The only witness that does not have a tie into this, it wasn't important. And you say it wouldn't surprise you? Miss Holly, according to Megan, she got out of the car for the second time and started walking away from it, right? Officer Strager, yes. Miss Holly, she said that she was walking away. She heard Tory say, dance, right? Officer Strager, yes. And I'm in no way making fun of this. I just am making sound effects till I get my sound effect board. Y'all got to deal with it. Okay. Miss Holly. Now, other than Megan, was there anyone else that said they heard this? Officer Strager, no. Miss Holly, because though Mr. Kelly was the only eyewitness in the neighborhood, there were a number of ear witnesses, right? I didn't know there was such a thing as an ear witness. But I guess that's what you call people that overhear stuff. There was ear witnesses. Okay. Miss Holly, and many of them heard an argument, correct? Officer Strager, yes. Miss Holly, and many of them heard gunshots. Officer Strager, yes. Pause. You have a warm in the car and a person bleeding from their feet. And you didn't handle this like it was a puming? I digress, and I'm not going to stress. Okay. Miss Holly, And actually, some of that is recorded on their rings and security systems, right? Officer Strager, correct. Miss Holly, but no one heard dance, yeah, except Megan, correct? Officer Strager, yes. Miss Holly, she told you, Megan told you in your in-person interview that she saw Tory pull his pew pew out, pull his pew pew, right? Officer Strager, she stated that she saw him point the pew pew, point a pew pew at her. Miss Holly, but she also said that she saw him pull his pew pointed. Okay, she pointed it. But she also said that she saw him pull his pew pew. Do you remember her saying that? Officer Strager, something to that effect. This man is pissing me off. This man is pissing me off. Okay, Officer Strager, something to that effect. Yes. Miss Holly, she also said that she was 25 feet away, correct? Officer Strager, approximately. Miss Holly, facing away from him, correct? Officer Strager, yes. Miss Holly, in the dark. Officer Strager, yes. When he was at least partially, according to her, inside the car, right? Officer Strager, yes. Did she say where he pulled it from? Officer Strager, no. She told you he was standing over the door when he... Officer Strager, yes. He's in the back seat of the car? Officer Strager, yes. Behind the driver when Megan got out of the car, right? Officer Strager, correct. Did she say he over the window from the back seat behind the driver? Officer Strager, no, from the passenger side. So when she gets out of the car, he's in the rear driver's side, correct? Officer Strager, correct. Yet she sees him from the inside of the car, rear passenger side. Is that right? Officer Strager, correct. Now, except for Quan, everyone in the car, when they are stopped by the police, are wearing swimsuits, correct? Officer Strager, yes. So based on what they were wearing, a few minutes later, after they were ordered out of the car, is it fair to say there was nothing on their person to conceal? Officer Strager, a weapon can be concealed in a lot of places, ma'am. I couldn't say whether they could or could not, or what they were partially wearing. I'm going to shut up. I'm going to just leave that one alone because you got all kinds of blicky noises. I need them. He's giving me a headache. Okay, so in some swim trunks, it's possible for you to be able to conceal some stuff. If you got some big knockers, you could conceal something underneath your breast. But bruh, did you see the bikini? Did you see the bikini? Because Megan's bikini was teeny weeny, itty bitty. Big old booty, big old bitties. In that teeny tiny itty bitty bikini. Where's she hiding something at? Where was Kelsey hiding anything at? Like, I mean, yeah, it's possible to do whatever, but at the end of the day, come on. Miss Holly, you did see the body cam video where he is ordered out of the car and he's wearing swimming trunks. Officer Strager, yes. Miss Holly, Megan told you that she had never seen a in the car or on the person of anyone who was in the car, correct? Officer Strager, yes. Correct. And she also told you that Tory seemed shocked after the shot. Like he couldn't believe that her, correct? Officer Strager, yes. Miss Holly, and she told you that Tory said, please don't tell anybody. I'm already on probation, correct? Officer Strager, yes. Miss Holly, but he wasn't on probation, was he? Officer Strager, not that I could find, no. Miss Holly, did you form any opinion about the truthfulness of Megan saying that Tory would say he was on probation when he wasn't on probation? Officer Strager, I could not see that he was on probation, ma'am. Miss Holly, but did you form any opinion about her saying that he said something like that when he wasn't on probation? Officer Strager, it was inconsistent. Miss Holly, did you believe everything that she told you? The DA, Miss Ta, objection, relevance, the court overruled. The witness, I believe in my experience, it is difficult to believe anything that any victim or suspect says completely 100%. Miss Holly, fair enough. We established that you were assigned this case 2 days after the incident, correct? Officer Strager, yes. When you got the file, I'm assuming you read the report of the officers, Lind and Cabral, on the scene shortly after the incident. Officer Strager, yes. Miss Holly, so you were aware that Mr. Kelly had told them that he saw two females physically fighting, correct? Officer Strager, yes. Miss Holly, and you were also aware that the report says that their investigation revealed a physical altercation between Harris and Peterson occurred. An unknown suspect fired approximately 5 rounds. Officer Strager, yes. Miss Holly, why did you exclude all of that information from your first report on July 16th and instead write that Tory and Megan were involved in a verbal argument? Oh, baby. That right there. That right there. He was aware of all of this, yet he excluded all of that from his report. I hope that he is still not out there protecting and serving anybody, because baby, this right here is beyond a hot ass mess. Are y'all hearing this? Are y'all hearing this? Child. It is. And trust me, we about to end because I need a break. And I'm quite sure y'all do too. Because this is a lot. This is why I was saying, like, y'all keep your sides out of this and just listen to the facts of the case and how they dropping the ball and how all this bullshit is happening. Like, this is the worst police work that I've ever heard of in my life. You don't recall things, even when you're the one that did the initial video interview, but you can't remember nothing. You don't remember important details, and you're not piecing stuff together. Certain things didn't seem relevant to you, but you were made aware of certain things, but you didn't follow up on them, or you didn't report on it, or you just... This is what I'm saying. Listen to how this case is just whatever. And it's coming out of the detective's mouth. Okay. Now, where were we? All right. So now this is his answer to that question. My report is in reference to my investigation that I conducted, which included the interview that I conducted with Megan, which that was her statement. Miss Holly, why didn't you include anything about Mr. Kelly's observation in your first report? Officer Strager, the phone call that I did with Mr. Kelly is noted in the report. Miss Holly, in the first report, Officer Strager, whenever I spoke to him was the only time that I spoke to him on the phone is in the report. Miss Holly, well, in your first report of July 16th, 2020, and I believe that's the date in which you spoke with him, I don't believe you mentioned anything about what Mr. Kelly observed. Officer Strager, I disagree. Miss Holly, okay. Did you have an opportunity to watch the body cam footage of the officers attempting to interview Mr. Peterson at the jail? Officer Strager, yes. Miss Holly, and so you heard him say, I was just trying to protect my girl. The DA, I will object as to double hearsay at this point. The court objection to what? The DA, Ms. Ta, objection, hearsay. The court overruled Prop 115. The witness, I don't specifically remember that statement, ma'am. Ms. Holly, did you see the body cam footage of his arrest where she says he was trying to get his girl to safety? Officer Strager, I saw a lot of body cam video. Is Henny Glasses in the chat if he working your damn nerves? He's working my nerves. You are the lead detective and you can't remember shit. We're going to stop in a minute. Let me just get through this part, okay? And I promise you, we're going to stop and take a breather. We're going to take a break, and then we're going to... Okay, Miss Holly, did you hear him say that? Officer Strager, I don't recall that specific statement. Miss Holly, did you hear him say, I was just trying to help my girlfriend? Officer Strager, I don't recall, ma'am. Miss Holly, did you hear him say, I was trying to help my shorty? Officer Strager, no, ma'am, I don't recall. How could you say no if you don't recall? Miss Holly, that's why none of those statements are in any of your reports, because you don't recall him saying those things. Officer Strager, that would have been something that would be noted in the responding officer's report if it was relevant. It's not relevant. That's not relevant. It's not relevant that you got called to a scene about some going off, right? It's not relevant that you got a hot one in the car and somebody injured. And the story is flipping around. There's so much going on. But at the basis of this story is the fact that there was a lover's quarrel between three people, which one person ends up injured, allegedly. And allegedly, it was the male who did it, but the other female got GSR on her. And you got witnesses that are telling you things, and ear witnesses or irises or whatever they call them, that are telling you something, yet none of this is pertinent to you. And paying attention to things that people are saying and doing in the midst of the initial arrest are not pertinent to the situation. And it's not relevant that a man allegedly, possibly could have said that he was just trying to protect his girl, his girlfriend, or his shorty, but you didn't hear none of that. And it wasn't noted in the officer's report because y'all are determining what is relevant and what is not relevant, even though you are watching body cam footage, going back after everything that you have learned and not figuring out that there were so many things that were considered to be minute or irrelevant that are turning out to be very relevant to the case. Is that what I'm getting? Are y'all getting that? Because that's what I'm getting. I just want to know, am I alone in thinking of all of this? Because baby, this is some hot shit right here. It ain't even Henny. This is some shit water. Okay. Miss Holly, there's gunshot residue on Tory's and Kelsey's hands, correct? Officer Strager, excuse me. According to the report, yes. Miss Holly, you have learned that Kelsey and Megan are no longer friends, correct? Officer Strager, yes. Miss Holly, up to this night, they had been close friends for more than 7 years, right? Officer Strager, yes. Now, how you know that? How you know that and how you remember that, but you can't remember important shit that's going. I'm getting mad. I'm getting mad. Anyway, Miss Holly, and she also Kelsey also had been Megan's assistant, correct? Officer Strager, yes. Miss Holly, yet they stopped their friendship immediately following the incident, right? Officer Strager, I'm not aware of exactly when, but from my understanding, sometime around there, yes. Miss Holly, now the bullet fragments, which were allegedly removed from Megan's ankles, they can be located, correct? Officer Strager, correct. Miss Holly, are you indicated, and you indicated that you reviewed the medical reports from Cedar, or at least some of them? Officer Strager, yes. Miss Holly, did you read the report that called the findings superficial injuries? Officer Strager, yes. Miss Holly, nothing further. Now, this is the redirect, and we're going to stop there. We're going to stop at the redirect because we went through this officer's whole testimony with the defense. And the next part is going to be him with the DA. Now, if you were here from the beginning to now, kudos to you because that was a lot to take in. I totally agree. He seems to not know anything important at all. And this is some BS. The way that they have decided to handle this and carry this is some real BS. I'm not even going to hold you. There's no way to candy coat it, sugar coat it, or none of that. It's not coated at all. It is all exposed because how? How? I have the document open and stopped right there. We are gonna do part two. Oh, well, Henny Glasses in the chat if y'all want to do part two and continue on with this. I promise it won't be this long. I know that there was a lot of stopping of things because there was a lot that was going on in the comment section, and I'm grateful that you guys were able to calm down and like put those differences to the side to listen to all of what is going on. I did see a lot of y'all that were in the comments, taking sides and all that, eventually did like calm down and get it that this is not about sides. This is about the way that these officers and these court officials and all of that misguided this case. And like I said, give proper justice. Now, I said to y'all that I was going to give my thoughts on this topic at the end, and we are at the end. So here's my thought on this. I feel like it was morally wrong for what Megan and Tory did. That is not on one person or the other. That falls on both of them. And I know that a lot of people wanted to bash Megan because it's like, how could you do that to your best friend? But that man knew that they were best friends as well. So it is morally wrong on Megan and Tory for what they did, especially knowing that Kelsey wasn't around because Kelsey went back to Texas because she had COVID. So she's homesick with COVID, and these two decided that they were going to do what they were going to do and then try to keep it a secret. Like nobody came out and said anything until temper started flaring and things started looking sideways and people were looking. And I'm quite sure Kelsey was like, why are you so upset? if Kelsey be the one that is guilty, I feel that it is morally wrong that she is sitting and letting somebody else take the brunt of what is going on. Okay. If Tory is actually guilty of this crime, then Tory does need to pay for it. But even if it turns out that Tory is not guilty of this crime and it is Kelsey, Kelsey needs to have this same energy brought to her that everybody has had for Tory. And that's how I feel about it. Kelsey is married now, but she was not married at the time. She's married now. She has a child, but she was not married at the time of this incident. She was actually sleeping with and dating Tory. This is all a lover's quarrel. This is a case of a crime of passion, and that's what people are not seeing. It's a case of a crime of passion. But the sad part about this is, while we as Black women want to see justice served to people who do us wrong, I don't feel that there was proper justice handed out, because they did not conduct things properly. That's what I'm saying, Coolish Jazz. If he's guilty, let him be proven fairly guilty. But ladies, even though we feel that we are so unprotected and we are so villainized all across social media, and it's not even just feel, we know that that's what is happening. I feel like, oh, she admitted that she's not married, Buttercup. Okay, see, I missed that. When it comes down to one of us getting justice, that's what we want. We want to see justice served. Okay. Yeah, we talked about that, Jason. But let's get proper justice. Let's have proper investigation done. Let's make sure that they're handling the things that they're supposed to be handling. And this is why I had said, when it came to Nicole Brown and O.J. Simpson, they handled that case. I can't even say they handled that case properly. I'm just going to say, at the end of the day, this case was not handled, conducted, or led in a manner that means that proper justice has been served. I do feel like it does deserve another trial. And in this trial, T's need to be crossed, I's need to be dotted, things need to be said. People need to be subpoenaed and brought into court. People need to be up there testifying on the stand. If you have 5 people, 4 of which are immediate eyewitnesses and one that is an external witness, and you got people that heard things, why are those people who overheard the argument not being subpoenaed to come to court either, or at least give a statement that would be admissible in court? Why didn't you take the time to say, okay, you know what, this case, it's going to carry on past the holiday, but let's go ahead and let's schedule this and let's move it along properly? Because I'm sorry, Jaquan should have been one of the first people up there. If y'all could get EJ up there, y'all could get him up there. Because EJ was a part of a witness pool as well. He was a witness to what was going on at the party. He seen them partying, he was partying with them, and they gave his testimony, but you didn't bother to put energy into making sure Jaquan got there, a person who was in the vehicle, a person who was the one who separated the 2 females from fighting, a person who can say that he had his back turned and did not see exactly who did what, but he knows that Tory was trying to do whatever. That's his statement. So why was he not allowed to give his statement? It was a lot of missteps here. And I'm disgusted by it. If I'm going to be honest with you, I'm disgusted by it. And until I see that there is actual good investigation being done and this is being handled properly, it's hard for me to come to a clear decision as to who is what. But like I said, to me, when I said Kelsey, I felt like Kelsey is the one who had the most motive. I mean, shit, if my friend is always backdooring me with a dude and you just continuing to do shit and do shit and do shit, at some point in time, people break. Even if Tory did it, he didn't get a fair trial. In appeal, Tory is walking. I don't think Tory, I mean, on appeal, he could walk, but let's get a real trial happening. That's how I feel about it. Absolutely. That cop failed this case. He failed this case miserably. And that's what I'm showing. That's why I decided to come into this and talk about this case. It was not about trying to rile anybody up or pick a side. It was about showing what the hell was going on behind the scenes. So it is what it is. Regardless to what, the case isn't being handled properly still. Even if it was his defense team that did all of that, it's still not being handled right. But thank y'all for staying so long. Jeez Louise, I know that was a long one. I'm actually going to make this video private for a little while because I'm going to edit out the beginning parts where there was a lot going on. Okay. So that way it could be a better video for y'all to come back. You absolutely right, Dominican Queen. Anything is possible. Okay. And that's why I say to y'all, even if we read things in court docs, it doesn't mean that it is okay, well, we can definitely agree to disagree. If you feel it was fair, that, you know, you're entitled to feel that way. But I just feel like based off of the I don't knows and I don't remember, and it is what it is. So tomorrow we will continue on with part 2. We will read what the detective's cross-examination with the DA sounds like. I will go into a little bit more of those cases. I was supposed to be doing some whack stuff, but this right here, reading it, I decided it should be broken down into sections because we'll be here for like 8 hours, and I am not doing no 8 hours. We've already done 3. Okay. There is still going to be the members live. If you are a member, you're in for a treat because we're going to be reviewing a video that was done on Jay-Z's Mistress by Trap Lord Ross. And we're going to do that in about an hour. Right. Everyone breathe, take a shot of Henny, and moke one with the coolest jazz at the bar. Okay. So I'm going to say, actually, I want to say like 5:30-ish. I don't know. 5:30 or 6 o'clock, y'all. Y'all vote on that. 5:30 or 6 o'clock. You need the members link? Okay, hold on 1 second. I got it for you. My back itchy. All right. I'm going to drop the members link for you. Coolest Jazz. Drop the members link for you. I'm actually going to go ahead and put that members link right in the description of the video. Boom. Okay. Okay. All right. Invite viewers to join your channel. Okay. Here we go. Coolest Jazz. Y'all are saying 6. I see a lot of 6 in the chat. Okay. So we'll do it at 6 o'clock. That gives everybody some time to tap in with their loved ones, do what they got to do. So we'll do the members live at 6 o'clock. I'll go ahead and do the thumbnail and schedule everything. And I will see y'all at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the members only live. I love y'all. Y'all be good out there, okay? And I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace, y'all.
Okay.